Welcome to TechEV.com, your solution providers. This is Abhishek, and today we're going to be working on the graduated and radial filter in Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. So as you can see, this is our film strip over here, and it contains all the images in a particular directory. And it's important to work on RAW in Lightroom to get most of the options and most of the settings in an image. So first off, we're going to click on our graduated filter over here and select an image. As you can see, this is our histogram over here, and this gives us control over each and every particular portion of our image. As you can see, this highlights our exposure, shadows, and all the other portions that we want. And we can edit an image even by controlling the histogram, as you can see. In this image, as you can see, we want to make sure that the viewer is directed towards the center of this cup and the contents of this tea. So what we can do here is make a graduated filter at the top and the bottom of this cup to make sure that the viewer is directed towards the cup. And we can do this by clicking and dragging from the top of this image towards the center or the edge of the image to where we want to end our effect. As you can see, this we're going to select an exposure of -1.4 about it, and as you can see, the top portion of this filter is what is most affected above this line. We can move this by dragging it over. As you see, the top portion here is most affected, and as we have reduced the exposure over there, the most portion of that area goes black. Now the middle portion from here to here is where the decrease in our effect happens, and until this, after this line, zero effect happens. So we can move this line as we like it and make it around here. We can also rotate this by clicking on the center line over here if we want to, and that just gives us a pretty good vibe all over our image. We can adjust any parameter of a particular portion, and now we can press done or click enter from the keyboard to make sure. Now if we want to add another gradual filter over here, then we're gonna have to click new and then drag another gradual filter like this over the image. And because our exposure was preset to 1, we're gonna decrease it down to a desired number to make sure that still the main portion of the image falls on the center. We can adjust this further by dragging our gradual filter, or we can rotate it as we did before, and that would be necessary in this picture because there is a lot of white concentration over there. We can increase or decrease any particular level of this image to make sure that any other format is selected. Like if we want to decrease the exposure of this whole portion, that we're going to lower down our top bar of the gradual filter, because anything below this bar would be most affected, and it will decrease gradually until this line. And then we can click done over here, and as you can see, this is much better than the original, and this gives us a good focus towards the center of the cup. Now we can furthermore decrease or enhance any particular temperature or other tint of the image, and as you can see, this is necessary to give it a kind of summer and warm vibe. And we're gonna just increase the temperature a little bit to give it this warmth color of like sunset, and increase the tint a little bit too. The next thing we're gonna make sure is increase the saturation of the image to pop up the color. And as you can see, this gives a pretty great attention towards the center of the image. Now that was our graduated filter, and apart from that we can also concentrate on the radial filter too. For that, let's pick another image, and as you can see in the radial filter we can give a centerpiece a good attention, and the rest of the image will be blown out by darkness, and the viewer will be focused towards the center of a particular thing. So let's click on our radial tool, and we can draw out a circular or any other shape that we want. For that, we can press shift and then make a selection to make sure that our selection is circular, and we can move this off to any place we want. And first of all, we're going to decrease the exposure to make sure that we get a real-time impact of all our selections, and we can further change the shape, and then we can press enter. And as you can see, we can further enhance or decrease any of our effects that we have done up until now. But, for that, we're gonna just click on our gradient tool right over here, and that gives us a command to adjust or change the scale or make any further adjustments. We're gonna increase the temperature too to give it a sunset vibe, and then we're gonna click done. And as you can see, this gives us a focus towards the center of the image. We can further increase or decrease that as we like it. So that was our graduated and radial filter in Photoshop Lightroom. Please like and subscribe.